Some will be the first on the dance floor. Some will be the last on the dance floor. Some will never, ever enter the dance floor. Some people even don't show up at any party, while others you will find on any party. So, personality are behavioral patterns which are stable and which we show in certain situations. Right? Now, there's a long tradition in research about personality. I mean, that was an idea from a couple of decades ago that we thought as psychologists, there is something that we name personality. People differ with regards to stable behavioral patterns. So if it's there, we want to measure this, and we want to understand what are the different dimensions of personality. And to explain this, I should show you a test, which is probably the most commonly used test in practice. It's the so-called Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI. And I show you this because in this test you find the typical dimensions which we use in personality tests. Yeah. The first one is probably the most prominent one. Extraversion, introversion. There are people which are rather extraverted. They're outgoing. They are present. Yeah. They constantly communicate. Yeah. They don't have any fears in approaching other people. Yeah. They are the first on the dance floor. Right? While the introverted are rather laid back, but not so present. Yeah. Quiet. They don't like parties. They rather prefer to be on their own. They live in their own world. The psycho. No. I mean, people differ on this dimension. There's the idea that people differ in a way how they make decisions, right? There are people who are rather rational in their decision. They go to a warehouse. They want to buy a shampoo. They find they are faced with 30 different types of shampoo. Yeah, they take their iPad, create an Excel sheet, and type in all the criteria which are relevant for buying a shampoo. Then they compare the different types of shampoo, and then they calculate the right decision. And after 6 hours, they make a decision. I take this shampoo. This is definitely the best one for me, and I can argue based on 17 criteria. That's very extreme. But there are people who are really structured, think before they act. They don't act spontaneously. When they buy something, they buy a digital cam. They take weeks to really understand what types of... Yeah. They visit thousands of websites. Yeah. While others say, oh, I should buy a digital cam. Take the smartphone, Amazon. Oh, there's one, I like it. Buy. Some decide rather based on what they think. They decide with their brain, while others decide rather based on gut feeling. Bauchentscheidung. Yeah, based on feelings. Yeah. Some are very structured in judging situations and people. Yeah. Others are much more holistic. Yeah. So I just show you because these are typical dimensions which we have. The most important one really, which I want you to understand, is the difference between extraversion, introversion. So, what's the problem with personality tests? I mean, just imagine you apply for a sales position, right? And you know that you have to sell. You have to go out, meet people, build networks, convince others, be present. Yeah. And now you have to do this personality test. And you know that at the end the result must be that the company believes that you are extroverted, because it's better to be extroverted in a sales position, in a sales job, to be more correct. So what will you do? You probably will not answer every question in the right way. I don't want to say that you lie, but try to draw a picture about yourself which is not actually you, but that brings you in a better position, right? But those who have created those tests, they were not dumb. Yeah? So they have included some questions that measure a different dimension. Your tendency to draw a positive picture about yourself. Yeah? So, if you are ever asked in a test a question like, have you ever stolen something? What will you add? What will you answer? Yes. You say, please, yes. Yeah. If you say no, you're a liar. Yeah. Now you come and say, but that's true. I've never stolen something. Come on. Never stolen something. Or, if I'd be sure when I use a tram, I will not be controlled, will you buy a ticket? If you're asked something like this, you say no. Because if you say yes, you're sorry. Yeah? You're either idiot or I don't know. See, but I would buy a ticket because from my ethical understanding. Have you ever used a sink for a different purpose than it is designed for? You say yes. Okay. This is an ability test. Now when we talk about ability, aptitude, competence, certain skills. The difference to personality is that there is a strong end and there is a weak end. Well, personality is as it is. There is not that it's a good personality, bad personality. Yeah, it makes no sense. People differ, and that's fine. But with abilities, there is a strong end and a weak end. Now, a weak end. This is a test about your ability to concentrate on something. Very simple test. It's genius. The idea was, you get a booklet, some pages filled with such kind of weird signs. You find P's, B's, D's, and Q's, right? With 1, 2, 3 lines above, below, above. Your task is that you check all the D's with 2 lines, either both on top, both below, one on top, one below. All the D's, only the D's with 2 lines. Yeah, and you have an entire booklet. And now there are 2 versions. The one version is you have to complete the entire booklet, and then 2 things are measured: how fast were you, and how many failures did happen. Or you have a predefined period of time, let's say 8 minutes. You get the booklet, and it's just check how far you can go and how many failures you make. And then you have tables that clearly indicate, okay, that was your speed, that's the number of your failures, your concentration level is this. This is about concentration. The most important kind of tests in that area are probably intelligence tests, right? Yeah, so I just took some examples here. You will find in almost every test about intelligence the task on the right-hand side. So you get a sequence of numbers, and you must figure out what is the next one. 1, 3, 6, Yeah? 12? What do? You look at the numbers, you try to create a kind of theory. What is the theory behind this logic? You apply this theory for the already existing numbers, and if it works, you use this theory to calculate the next number. So the theory in that case might be, okay, you first add 2, then you add 3, then you add 4. Then the next number is probably 10. Now, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Now you have to create again a theory. You have to play around in your mind, apply different theories based on the existing numbers. And from there, if you find that this theory is valid, at least for the existing numbers, you apply this theory for the next number, which is what theory?
Plus 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5, so we add 5.
2 plus 3.
Plus 3 plus 5 equals 8, so you add 8 to 13. 8 plus 5 equals 13, so you add 13. That's what I would do. It's not sure.
29.
So next
So
one.
you just add the previous number.
So from 3 to 5, you add 2. From 5 to 8, you add 3. The two
Yes.
added numbers, you add them up, and you add it to the
34.
last
Right.
number. And you
So 34.
34.
Right. So that, and at the end, you're going to have a task which you will definitely not complete. Yeah. So it's gonna be more difficult step by step. But there are also other kind of tasks. There is scientific evidence that people who earn more money are often not as happy than those who earn less. Okay, check. Please create much theories, explanation, supporting this finding as possible. Now you have 5 minutes time and you have to come up with explanations. Why is this the case? I mean, that's interesting. Yeah? You are under pressure, under time pressure. Now come up with explanations. Or totally different. Sorry?
I said it's not true, but you still can defend it.
You think it's not true. That's not true.
Yeah, but I still can defend it.
Okay.
I can come up with
That's intelligence. So even though you don't believe in this, you can explain this. Wow. Here is a cube. A transparent cube with a cable enrolled in it. So and this is the same cube, but you look at this from a different perspective. So left cube is the reference, and the right one is the same cube. And the question is, do you look on the cube from the left-hand side, from the front? Probably not. From behind, from left, from below, from top. Right? So again, what you must do in your mind is you must be able to rotate this cube, and you must, in your mind, be able to look at the cube from a different angle. And you must draw a conclusion how this cube must look like once you look on it from a different angle. I mean, that's a very complicated process in your mind. Imagine somebody would need to program a software that just from the picture is able to decide to do this task. You could immediately understand that it's highly complicated. And some people are good in this and some are worse. And in some jobs you really have to have this ability to have a three-dimensional imagination. Right? The right one is taken from a intelligent test version which you use for kids. Right? It's the same again. It's if you look at this boat and the question is what is wrong with this picture, I mean, you know that, okay, a boat is driving from into this direction. If this is the case, and we can tell this from the water. So if you drive into this direction, the wind comes from front. Yeah. So these clouds and everything, this is the smoke. Yeah, must go into the other direction, just like the flags do. So, I mean, this is something expected by children in a certain age that they can come up with such a conclusion. Okay. whenever we talk about ability tests like this, intelligence tests or the D2, these are really scientific tests. They are really expensive. Yeah, don't mess these up with some tests which you might find on Facebook or in some weird journals or so. Yeah, these are really scientific tests. Yeah, and they are created. There's a lot of research behind. Yeah.
Yeah, but these tests are not only used for concentration tests for employees, they are also used in a seriously psychological IQ test. So people use this test like this D2 I have to do to get my IQ measured. So
okay. You have done the D2 as part of the intelligence measure. Okay, I didn't know this. Okay, interesting. Yeah, right. For different purposes, you find tests like this. If you want to become a pilot, you have to do tests like this. If you want to become a physician, yeah, in earlier days in Germany, you had to do this Mediziner test. So actually, this exercise, this task, this item, is taken from the Mediziner test. For people that want to study medicine, okay. So for different purposes, for different jobs, for different professional roles, you can take different things. So I just want to show you the typical type of items. Now, as I said, these tests are scientifically designed. There's much effort behind, long years of research. Yeah? And especially intelligence tests are designed in a way that you can really tell from the overall test score how good you are. So, just a question to you. If you have intelligence, IQ, intelligence quotient of 115, is that good or bad?